Today is officially one of the saddest days in the world of pro wrestling. Yeah, hi. Alrighty, folks, ladies and gentlemen, I am recording this Thursday night. Most likely, will be uploading on Friday. Um, by the way, I'm bold intentionally because of summer. It's my summer annual cut. Um, so unfortunately, the legend himself, Hulk Hogan, passed away. He has passed away in the age of 71. He, there's nothing. I have no words. I really don't. Hulk Hogan, man. Hulk Hogan passing away. I'm not saying oh, it's like gone way too soon. But like after all, the guy was not like a young guy, but he looked great for his age. It didn't look like he could pass away. But again, there's been great people who unfortunately passed away, even in great shape. It just sucked that obviously today is one of those days that we didn't want to happen, that we didn't want it to come sooner, and unfortunately it has happened. Unfortunately, we lost a legend. We lost a legend himself. We lost a man, the myth, the legend, the immortal one himself, the real American hero, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, whether you love him or hate him, is arguably one of the greatest performers of professional wrestling history. Okay, love him or hate him, he's the reason that professional wrestling is where it is today. Yes, because of the thanks of Vince McMahon that gave him the opportunity and helped basically put him to stardom. If it wasn't for a guy like Vince McMahon, who obviously, credit to Vince McMahon choosing him as the guy, but Hulk Hogan had talent. Hulk Hogan is talent. Hulk Hogan was the right place in the right time because of his talent and ability to be able to make wrestling where it is today. He's the one because of his star power, his charisma, his character work. His talent was why professional wrestling went mainstream. Hulk Hogan, there's definitely not no one's gonna be there's nothing gonna be like him. Okay, there's not gonna be another Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was the biggest face of pro wrestling. You know, he's definitely deserves to be in the Mount Rushmore. He's the guy that if without Hulk Hogan, wrestling would not be where it is today. Professional wrestling would not be where it is today. Anything that's pop culture that's associated with pro wrestling, without Hulk Hogan, WWE would not be where it is. That's for sure. He's the reason why WWE is literally where it is at today, where we see so many wrestlers today. So many, like, why the wrestling business is even a thing? The wrestling business would still be a carny act at some local carnival. Professional wrestling today is now a global phenomenon, and obviously millions around the world know who Hulk Hogan was. And the sad thing is, now he's gone. It just sucked that a lot of people want to hate on Hulk Hogan now, and we're gonna try to, I'm gonna try to talk about all of my thoughts and everything. But we're gonna talk about Hulk Hogan, that's for sure. So Hulk Hogan's career. He apparently wanted to only just be he wanted to just play bass. He just wanted a band, but then he, eventually ended up in the wrestling business. He was trained by a Japanese guy, but then he eventually was helped by Freddie Blassie once by the time he appeared in the WWE, or WWF at the time. It was brought to WWF by Vince McMahon Sr., and then eventually was let go, unfortunately, because Hulk Hogan actually, because of the character type of guy he was, he actually got big by appearing in Rocky 3 as Thunderlips, along with Sylvester Stallone, and that actually helped put him to stardom. Unfortunately, Vince McMahon Sr. did not like that and unfortunately let him go. Eventually, Hulk Hogan was still involved in wrestling and became one of the biggest stars. That was a rising star at the time, especially with the territories. Eventually, Vince McMahon himself, Vince McMahon Jr., Vince McKay McMahon, that we all know, who again is the reason why professional wrestling where it is today, is because the guys like Hulk Hogan and the contributions of Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was able to help bring back Hulk Hogan because he knew he had talent and was capable of being somebody. He was brought in and eventually became WWE's biggest star. Won the WWF title from the Iron Sheik, Madison Square Garden, January 1984. And eventually became the biggest star of the 80s. And the sad thing is now the 80s. It's like a lot of wrestlers from the 80s are gone now, man. That's crazy. And oh yeah, how can I not say, like, man, doesn't all come in three, right? First we lose the actor from the Cosby Show. I'm not gonna act like I know who he is, but rest in peace to him. Then we lose Ozzy Osbourne, which I might do a little tribute video. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. It's a darn shame that Ozzy has passed away. I don't know what to say about that, like the fact that Ozzy Osbourne passing away. Thankfully, he was able to pass away after his last farewell tour. Good for him. Definitely Black Sabbath is great band. His contribution to rock, heavy metal especially. God bless him. Rest in peace. But now Hulk Hogan, man. It's just Hulk Hogan passed away like literally after all three of them, man. Doesn't it all indeed come in threes, huh? It sucks, man. Like is this some fucking Hollywood shit that they're playing? I don't know. The fact that Hulk Hogan passed away, there was rumors of his health declining. I was not believing it because there was like apparently people were not even believing it either. Like, what was it named? Bubba the Love Sponge was spouting rumors that he was like in his deathbed, but he was not in his deathbed because Hulk Hogan was like moving. But there was like evidence now, and we should have believed Bubba the Love Sponge and Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart was saying that his health was declining, and now look where he is. Now he's gone. I guess that it does, like, again, those were two people that were actually close to him, so we should have probably believed it, right? The reason why we didn't believe it because Hulk Hogan was still like moving around, and he was promoting, which I don't know how the hell they're gonna still run this. He was promoting his new promotion, which was gonna be for freestyle wrestling, like amateur wrestling, and now he's gone. We don't know what's gonna happen in the future for that show, for that company. Now he's gone. Eric Bischoff is only gonna probably run it himself, or it might not even actually not be a thing anymore. Because how the hell are you gonna do anything with that without Hulk Hogan? I mean, was it from the start something to look forward to? Not really necessarily, unless you're a fan of amateur wrestling. But at the end of the day, I don't know. But yeah, Hulk Hogan, man. I want to go back to again talking about Hulk Hogan. So he again become the biggest babyface by defeating the Iron Sheik. Fun fact about what I know about Hulk Hogan: he literally wore the colors red and yellow because of McDonald's. People love McDonald's. Definitely, spouting, the American, just American patriotism. Real American by Rich Dingling, and again, rest in peace to him, the composer of Real American. Man, we're losing people, bro. It sucks. But he became again the biggest star of wrestling. With his pop culture appeal, helped kickstarting WrestleMania. Again, Hulkamania, and eventually to WrestleMania. WrestleMania became a thing because of his contribution to wrestling. WrestleMania became a thing. Him teaming up with Mr. T for facing Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful. The star power, the appeal, having wrestling mainstream, appearing Saturday Night Live, contributing with celebrities. Again, without Hulk Hogan, wrestling would not be where it is today without his pop culture appeal. Becoming the biggest babyface of all time, and then eventually becoming the biggest heel of all time. That's the beauty of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was one of the most beloved babyfaces, and eventually became the biggest heel in wrestling. Like, wow, became the biggest heel by, again, him joining WCW eventually after his little run, after leaving WWE and the whole steroid trial, and then eventually joining WCW. Finally having that match with Ric Flair that was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 8, and then eventually turning heel, forming the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Obviously, one of the biggest moments in wrestling history. I mean, again, the biggest faction in history, the NWO. The NWO obviously became a thing, and it was the reason why WWE almost literally, like literally almost ended. WWE as a company almost ended because of WWE's one of WWE's greatest creations, which is Hulk Hogan. Eventually, WCW folded, but then Hulk Hogan eventually got back to WWE with the NWO as still heel after WCW got sold, ended, and Hulk Hogan refused to work. Eventually joined WWE right after the contract expired with WCW and Warner Bros. And then eventually joined WWE again, and eventually became a babyface once again, literally in one of the biggest moments of wrestling history against The Rock at WrestleMania 18, Icon versus Icon. Then became WWE champion right after that, defeating Triple H, losing to The Undertaker, and then became Mr. America. I remember he had a tag title run with Edge, which was definitely one of my fondest memories, especially with Edge being one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Also, briefly coming back to WWE during 05 and 06, having matches with Shawn Michaels after getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, having his crazy match with Shawn Michaels, that sell job by Michaels, and obviously having one more match against Randy Orton. That was his last WWE match. And then he went to TNA. He came back to WWE. And then he came back to WWE after his run with TNA, running TNA. And now, unfortunately, that went. And then coming back to WWE 2014 by the time WrestleMania 30 happened. And sadly let go because of the whole racist scandal. And eventually got back because the Saudis literally uncanceled Hulk Hogan. And how literally Hulk Hogan took down Gawker with that whole racist scandal with the sex tape and shit like that. And then eventually, after that, Hulk Hogan got back to WWE around 2018, made a few appearances then, and now he sadly passed away. He definitely came back also, especially that promo when he cut about Mean Gene Okerlund, doing a Hulk Hogan mode promo. It definitely hits hard now that now he's among those people who he mentioned that all the wrestlers in heaven and the personalities, now he's unfortunately passed away and hopefully in heaven. He's among all those legends now that in that promo he mentioned with Mean Gene Okerlund. It's crazy, the fact that Hulk Hogan is gone is sad. I do want to mention brief history stuff. Okay, obviously becoming the biggest babyface in WWE history in the 80s. Whether you again, one of the most beloved wrestlers in the 80s. And then even in the 90s, even though people were getting a little tired of him towards his end of Hulkamania run, he then defeating freaking taking the title from Yokozuna. Even though I didn't hate that moment, I still like that moment. Hulk Hogan was the biggest star. Who cares? Wanted to send people home happy. I really don't think I don't agree with people hating that. Again, big feuds. Especially with Andre the Giant, that body slammed her around the world. Or, again, the biggest moment in wrestling history, if anything. Sure, it happened a bunch of times. If you've seen footage of Hogan, of his early days of wrestling, he done it a bunch of times with Andre. But because it was, on pay-per-view, WrestleMania, it definitely will live in an eternal memory, It's not like it was like the internet at the time, so that's why it was like big time. Um, his feuds with Roddy Piper, his feuds again with Macho Man, eventually the Mega Powers Clash. His match with Ultimate Warrior, their little feud back at WrestleMania 6 time. Uh, again, main event in WrestleManias for 8 years straight, basically. Not only that, again, going to WCW, finally having that match with Ric Flair, and then eventually becoming heel after like people were actually getting a little tired of him, and just to help that boost that Monday Night War, 86 weeks, 83 because I'm not gonna act like I remember the weeks, but that long period with Eric Bischoff when running WCW at the time, leading to them almost literally could like WWE to pieces, to shreds. Obviously, a bunch of moments in WCW too, as with the NWO, and becoming obviously the world champion there at the time as well. Obviously the feud with Sting. Can't really talk much about the the Starrcade match, but again, his feud with Sting. Wrestle again like a lot of other legends that he never got to wrestle in WWE, well WWF at the time, and then obviously coming back to WWE. Yeah, and then his stint with TNA, joining TNA, running it with Eric Bischoff with the help with obviously Dixie Carter in order to help, literally. But he had creative control. Was his creative control helpful? Not for the long run, but at least like I would have good memories watching TNA because of him. But yeah, man, Hulk Hogan. So that's like my little brief history like lesson, right? Hulk Hogan had so many moments in wrestling. He's the reason why wrestling is where it is today. I don't know what to really say. My favorite memories of Hulk Hogan, obviously, like so many moments, but like again, contribute to matches. I mean, you can't go wrong with him by slamming Andre the Giant. You can't go wrong with that. And also, just the feud with him and Andre. If anything, you want to talk about long term booking, Hogan and Andre, their story and their contract signing, man. I gotta tell you, one of my favorite moments aside from their match was the contract signing, man. I loved like that contract signing was just, you didn't need any flashy segments or whatever. That itself was just a badass segment, with Hogan, and I loved it. I will you can even watch it on WWE's YouTube channel. That's one of the best contract signing segments I've seen. It's really is. It's cool. It made me feel real at the time, especially when like the cold kayfabe shit. Um, his match with Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6 was great. One of the best Hogan matches, along with him and Savage. Um, the funny thing about Hulk Hogan, what people don't seem to talk about, is that he was a ring general. Like a lot of matches that were done was because of him. That he knew how to like work around matches to help the people like sell to the crowd. And he was a ring general. Before Gunter calling himself the ring general meant like you can actually like carry a match with people. He was a ring general, a well-known ring general, so a lot of matches was called because of him, and there would tend to be like a certain point great matches. And it's like, what does that tell you about Hulk Hogan for people so he can't wrestle? Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan also again wrestled in like Japan and all that. Um, Definitely like, was it necessary to wrestle that style? Not necessarily, but like Hulk Hogan, he proved he can move. Like if you see his stuff in Japan, like he could move. So people say he doesn't have work rate. Beg to differ. It's just he didn't need to do that as a character of Hulk Hogan, and I admire that. But at the end of the day, man, like at least Hogan could show that some Japanese cred. Even if he has more Japanese cred than all these Japanese jobbers. Yeah, again, he was like the first IWGP champion of that promotion of New Japan. So what does that tell you about Hulk Hogan? Obviously, so many memories of Hogan. Again, seeing stuff like him again facing the Great Muta, also like that match was pretty cool. Um, his feud with Sting, aside from the match at Starrcade, was fantastic. Him, one of my few favorite matches of Hogan, and just feud again him and The Rock, the greatest, probably my favorite Hogan match ever, and arguably the greatest. Just the star power itself, and like icon versus icon, and eventually becoming the babyface. Him versus Ultimate Warrior. Him versus Savage. Him versus Ric Flair. I remember when he came back to WWE in '02, and him versus Ric Flair in the no qualification match at a Raw. That actually was a good match, I thought. I remember seeing that, and I enjoyed it. Him versus I remember also him versus I'm trying to remember a few matches too. Um, it was in my mind. I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, but him versus Vince McMahon was even fantastic. His little feud with Vince at WrestleMania 19 was pretty cool. Him versus Shawn Michaels. A lot of people want to hate on Shawn Michaels, or they want to like hate on that match, because how Hogan refused to have three matches, and Mason would like refuse to do a trilogy. Shawn Michaels did act ridiculous, and while Shawn Michaels did act ridiculous because was not good, it was a good book to lose, and ruin their plans. I'm not gonna hate on it. I love the match, man. Like I think still like it's a funny match and still entertaining as a whole because of Shawn Michaels selling. So I don't know what to really say about that. What else to say? But again, Hogan was a ring general. Hogan knew how to help carry his other components. Him versus Goldberg. Again, that moment, with that WCW Nitro, that should probably been a pay-per-view for the long-term run idea. But him versus Goldberg at Atlanta, at a Nitro, beating over Bill Goldberg. Like, look what happened. Look at what that did for Bill Goldberg, who now just retired. Look what that did. Help made a star. He again helped made stars. Hogan done so many great things in the business. I had the privilege to meet Hulk Hogan last year, by the way. I met him at the Fanatics Fest. Ironically, I met a Smart Busters fan, or somewhat of a fan of myself. Shout out to him. I hope he's doing good. And thankfully I met Hulk Hogan. I mentioned telling him hey, it was thank you for the business, forget the haters. And I even mentioned hey, I'm actually I was gonna also train as a pro wrestler, which I am. Uh, you know, I don't know what else to really say. In terms of I know a lot of people probably already talked about this. By the time I'm gonna say what I have to say. Um, but I'm just kind of shooting from the hip, and that's the sad thing. I just realized that today is a coincidence. Well, by the time I'm uploading this could be a Friday. Um, it's what a coincidence also that Hulk Hogan passes away, 10 years after getting fired by WWE originally. Because of the accusations, the whole scandal of the whole racist scandal happened. Literally, it's the anniversary of this whole racist scandal that led to Hulk Hogan originally being let go by WWE, or not being tied with them, because of unfortunately the whole racism scandal with Gawker. And obviously, what happened? So here's so yeah, he had a sex tape with his own friend's wife, Bubba the Love Sponge, which obviously I think that's fucking weird and shit. Especially with Bubba the Love Sponge. That's why I also don't really care for the guy, right? But obviously the whole thing is, the whole his at the time his daughter Brooke Hogan was dating a black guy, and he went on a racist rant being frustrated. And obviously, we're all not perfect. We shouldn't be frustrated to like. The thing is, I do think we have our moments. In terms of like, yes, being angry at certain things we shouldn't. Um, Obviously, is a good thing to lash out on. Is it a good thing to like hate on someone for their race? No. But again, we don't know the full story. You don't know. We only know that unfortunately in that sex tape, Hulk Hogan said the N word. People accuse him now to be the most vile human being because he said the N word in an angry manner about the boyfriend. And again, we don't know what happened. We don't know. Sure, a lot of people want to say that, oh, it's because Hulk Hogan, he doesn't like that his daughter was dating a black guy. But again, we just don't know what happened. We don't know if that, like, you mean something, she found out something about her boyfriend. We don't know. Is it right for him to say the word? No, but again, we all say fucking crazy shit when we're angry, right? We say something we don't mean. And I do see as that. Do I think Hulk Hogan's a racist? No. Because we are all are guilty of being angry and say things that we don't mean. And I do think that Hulk Hogan has done a lot more good things in his life than bad. And he's really not a bad person. Especially when I met him. I met him. Oh yeah, I was going to say. I think before, unfortunately, I took a little pause. Hulk Hogan, I was blessed to meet him last year at Fanatics Fest. Sadly, I didn't go this year because all the tickets got sold out in terms of people I wanted to meet. But God bless that I was able to meet Hulk Hogan. I met him last year, and it's crazy now he's gone, sadly. I'm blessed to meet Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, when I met him, good guy. Sadly, we were being a little rushed, but Hulk Hogan, took the time to say hi, and it's like when I asked him, was like, thank you for everything, what you've done for the industry. I was thankful for that, and I even said I mentioned because I was like, oh, I'm actually hoping to be a professional wrestler, which for those who don't know, I am training as a pro wrestler now, by the way, and I already had my first match, but that's a story another day. Hulk Hogan says, just don't get hurt, brother. That's what he told me. Hey, I'm actually gonna be training as a pro wrestler soon. What do you got? Is there anything any advice I would say? You would say? He says, just don't get hurt, brother. That's what he told me. And I'm just like, that's pretty cool. Him saying that. And then I got him photo with him. I was wearing my NWO shirt. And yeah, he signed it. Signed that NWO shirt, and also took the photo of me oh yeah, take care, man. And I told him hopefully I'll see you down the road. But God bless you. He was like, thank you. Sadly, I will never see him down the road again because that was sadly going to be probably the only time now because he passed away. It sucks, man. It really sucks. And all that, it sucks that he passed away. But, he was not like he was a young guy. But he was having health issues. Obviously, because of steroids. It could be because of steroids. That influences health. But what can you do? That's life. He's getting older anyways. It sucks that as we grow older, we lose people we love. And that's life, but yeah, it just sucked that a lot of people nowadays hate Hulk Hogan because of that whole scandal. Again, I don't think he's racist. I just think that it was just something he said that was not in the moment. Doesn't mean he's racist. I just think that people want to say he's racist just because he said the N-word. Is it a good thing to say? No, but at the end of the day, he said it. We're all not perfect. We're all not only perfect people. We all do stuff we are not proud of at times. That's why we're not perfect. It's up to us to definitely live and learn from it. Obviously, that made him a villain to a lot of black wrestlers and people in the world. A lot of people thought he was a bad person for that. I even thought the only way maybe that'll be it with Hulk Hogan, and the only way he'll be mentioned again in WWE is if he passes away. And ironically, he passes away the 10-year anniversary. Like, I remember saying this 10 years ago. That, like, the only way, like, he would probably be mentioned again by WWE is if he sadly passes away. And he passes, I mean, thankfully they brought him back before that. But, you know, it just sucks that, like, now, like, he passes away. Especially, like, literally, I would say, I said this 10 years ago on the same day. Like, it happened. Yeah, but it's just also just, like, man, 10 years? Like, what a coincidence, huh? Again, I do think that obviously it's funny how he was able to take down Gawker, you know, leading him to bankruptcy for what they did. It's like kind of karma's a bitch, right? Um, but again, like the whole racist shit, like I just think that people want to hate on Hulk Hogan now, just because of that. It's just ridiculous. It's also ridiculous that now, like literally now, his last appearance was the Raw on Netflix, and people hated him. The Californians, the whatever, the people in California were booing Hulk Hogan. A lot of people are like, oh, well, Undertaker was not booed, and he's a Trump supporter and conservative. That's because Hulk Hogan is a mainstream star. People know Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan was in the Republican convention. He appeared on the Republican National Convention. He appeared on Trump's rallies. Undertaker, from what I remember, didn't do that. Sure, aside from inviting Trump to his podcast, which nobody really knows aside from no mainstream appeal. It's only like really just Hulk Hogan who has that mainstream appeal and appeared on the convention. That's why people know. The Undertaker didn't appear on the convention. That's why he was not booed when he showed up at Raw and Netflix. Okay, but obviously, what a disrespect to the fans now, and like I hope now the fans like realize. But the sad thing is, you have fans nowadays, and even the guy who just died, they're acting like he's fucking Satan. They're acting like he's the fucking most vile human being, that he should fucking die. They want to insult him and not like let a day be a day of mourning, you know. Like, you don't need to be the biggest fan of the guy. Like, just be human. It's funny how liberals, they want to say like how we're good people, we care about human beings, and yet they fucking hate on a guy who literally just died. What does that fucking tell you? The guy just fucking died, and y'all are picking a day to be a fucking asshole. I don't know. And like, whatever y'all believe, y'all want to fucking believe that he's a fucking racist and shit. I'm sorry, but he's not racist. I don't. From what I can tell, he's not racist. Okay, you can't. We all are guilty of saying fucking crazy shit at times. He's not racist. And I can assure you, from when I met him and what I know from that day in Fanatics, I mean, he definitely loved his fans and definitely was a good person. He literally stayed when everybody was leaving Fanatics early last year, because that's how they messed up the time. Hulk Hogan literally stayed to make sure everybody got what their money was worth. That they got signed they got their autographs, and they got their pictures, their photo ops. There was like rumors of something like lately about Hulk Hogan leaving early or not signing somebody's again. It could have been a timing issue. It could have been maybe, or again, it could have been a ticket that was not brought. We don't know the stories. We just don't know. But what I could tell you is, from what I see with Hulk Hogan, he's a good guy. Not perfect guy. Sadly, it's now revealed that he had problems with his daughter, which I do think that's kind of fucked up. But in the end, they were not perfect, and we just hope for the best. But again, it just sucks that this is the reality is, a wife lost her husband, kids lost their father, and family members lost a family member, friends lost a friend. Like, this is a day where, why not mourn? Why is it we're picking a day to be an asshole? We don't need to do that. I thought liberals are nice people, right? They want to act like they're nice people, yet they want to fucking say, fuck this guy, I'm glad I got my wish. Fuck honoring this stupid bigot, racist, whatever, Trump supporter. Again, a lot of people are hating on him because of Trump. that doesn't help the fact that, again, what happened 10 years ago and now supporting Trump, that doesn't help. But regardless of that, I don't think the hate is necessary. I don't think the hate is. A lot of people hate on Hulk Hogan also because of the lies. And I do want to mention this. I was hoping to do a video in the future about this. The whole idea about being a politician, him with Taker, him Undertaker with Survivor Series 1991. I mean, I don't agree with it. Obviously, like, it's kind of iffy to, like, when I'm fans of both wrestlers, it's kind of hard to defend Hulk Hogan. But again, he prevented wrestlers from getting big or whatever. First of all, if you're not a politician in WWE, if you're not being a politician in the wrestling business, then you're not making money. You have to understand that professional wrestling is a business after all. We're all fighting for that one spot, okay? And I can't really blame Hulk Hogan when you're literally trying to, again, you're trying to, make money, and you're trying to, have a living. I understand why he's a politician, okay? And plus, again, wrestling would not be where it is if he didn't do backstage politics. You have to understand that. Do I think he's an awful human being? No. Do I think he's a pathological liar unintentionally? I'm not denying the whole idea, like, he's been lying about how he wrestled 400 days a year and wrestled in Wembley and all that. I think he's saying that unintentionally because, again, and I do think this is what I wish people would understand, and maybe this should have been, like, something to be diagnosed. Most likely, the reason why Hulk Hogan has said all these lies is because he may have had dementia. He may have actually have, like, a diagnosed condition that makes him say these things unintentionally to make it believe that he believes that he wrestled at Wembley. He wrestled 400 days a year. You know what I mean? So that's what I would have said, and I do believe. I don't think he's a racist. I just think that's all bullshit a lot of these liberals want to use to hate him. Holding wrestlers down, again, like, if you're not being a politician, you're not making money. Is it fair? No, but again, trying to protect your spot, like, again, what are you gonna do? And it's like, without what he did in the wrestling business, it wouldn't be where it is today. So I really, have a problem. And stopping WWE from having unionization. You do understand, people, that if WWE was to ever have a unionization, it would ruin anything that Vince McMahon has ever done, and also just, not only, and also Triple H, or just, again, the whole idea of where wrestling is, what it is today. Stuff in the, imagine if unionization act was around during the WWE Attitude Era. It would not be the best era it would be. So I don't know what to tell you guys. But again, Hulk Hogan, awesome wrestler, awesome character. The reason why wrestling is mainstream. It's a darn shame that people will hate him now and are literally hating him when he literally just passed away. Just because of get a huge support of Trump and racist. Like, enough with that. Enough. He's not a bad guy. It sucks. It really sucks. Today bothered me, knowing that he died. I was at work. My friend, who's a wrestling fan, mentioned it. And, it's definitely a day of, like, mourning. Like, within ourselves, like, soaking it in that, man, he passed away. Like, fuck. And now he's gone. Obviously, Hulk Hogan will always have, like, great moments in wrestling. I enjoy still him being part of TNA. I know a lot of people like to hate on him with TNA. Do I think always he had great creative decisions? No. Or backstage policy decisions? No. But again, regardless, it did help make an impact in the wrestling industry. Okay? Him being backstage politician helped definitely, like, carried, like, him being this long beloved wrestling babyface. And he's like, what? It worked out, Hulk Hogan had so many great moments in the wrestling industry. I mentioned it already, right? But again, him body slamming Andre, his match with Ultimate Warrior, his moment with The Rock. So many moments. All right. Him contract signing with Andre the Giant, his feud with Andre the Giant, his feud with Roddy Piper, his feud with all these great wrestlers. There's no one gonna be like him, man. He's the reason why wrestling is where it is today, because he was able to transform the rock and wrestling era to be what it was, incorporating mainstream appeal with wrestling, and he did his fucking job. Good on him. It just sucks he's gone. Like, thinking about it, I wish didn't have to be this way, didn't have to happen, but sadly it did. So thank you, Hulk Hogan, for the memories. May your spirit live in immortal. Your spirit and your memories. You have helped bring the Hulkamania in me. Even though, again, I'm 25 years old. I was born in 1999, and I only knew Hulk Hogan because, again, like when he joined WWE with 2002 NWO. But his memories are great, man. Like, so many contributions, helping the wrestling world. So many great matches. Him being the ring general, legit. Him having the best charisma. Having so much charisma. And can talk for God knows how long. And know how to cut a fucking promo. There's nothing much to say. Just other than thank you, Hulk Hogan, for making wrestling where it is today. And thank you for the memories. The fact that Hogan's gone is a darn shame. I am a Hulkamaniac. I am a Hulk Hogan fan. And I just want to say, like, God bless you, Hulk. Thank you for being one of the best to ever do it and to help this industry prosper. Because without Hulk Hogan, we don't know what it would be. Like, it will still be a fucking carnage type of thing. Hogan had talent. Hogan was great. There's nothing much to say. I didn't mention all the memories, all the, my little biography of what I wanted to cover. But yeah, there's nothing much. He's just, the fact he's gone is sad. Very tough day to be a Hulkamaniac, Hulk Hogan fan. Definitely sucks to see the harsh criticism of Hogan of all days. It's definitely sad. A lot of liberals are happy, which is not a good thing. I don't know. Just thank you, Hulk Hogan, for all the memories you have done to bring us. When I told my dad, like, obviously it was sad too. So you are the reason where wrestling is today. You helped entertain many people. And the fact that you are gone is just goes to show that wrestling is not going to be where it is anymore. It's not going to be the same. It just also included a reminder that now that Hulk Hogan's gone, what's WWE going to do when they need a celebrity? When they need someone like a top draw to help make people care about the show? It's not going to be easy to do that anymore. That's for sure. It's not going to happen. I don't know. I'm happy what he did in his original NWO run. Obviously, his Hulkamania run, no other babyface. I'm happy what he did, even like as coming back to WWE as an NWO, but and eventually becoming a babyface again. One of my fondest memories again coming to WWE in 2002. Him as against The Rock. Him the NWO versus Rock in Austin. Even him facing Triple H, beating him for the WWE title. Him having his match with Undertaker again at the Judgment Day pay-per-view. The worst stroke them, sadly, but that happened. Him versus Vince McMahon was pretty cool. I thought that was like for a Hulk Hogan Vince McMahon match. That's one of the best, really. Yeah, going to TNA. I enjoyed him going to TNA. While was he guilty of making bad decisions? Sure. Bad creative, yeah, but like I still wanted to watch and care because of guys like Hulk Hogan. So I give credit with that. He at least tried. What can you say? He's the biggest star of the 80s and 90s, There's no one gonna be nothing like him. That's for sure. He's like often imitated, never duplicated, right? I'm blessed to have met Hulk Hogan, and I wish nothing but the best. And Hulk, it just sucks to cope with that. I am a Hulk Hogan fan. I'm proud of it. Proud as a 25-year-old man. It's like it's crazy how last year I basically kind of honored Hulk Hogan unintentionally, where I dressed up as Hulk Hogan for Halloween, along with even Christmas as Ho Ho Hogan, with my Santa attire, and now he's gone. You know, I had the pleasure to again meet Hulk Hogan back in Fanatics August last year. Then again, dressing up and then seeing him on TV. It's just this guy's great, man. He will always be one of the best. Thank you, Hulk Hogan. Thank you for what you've done. I don't know what else to really say. You have contributed a lot of good things in wrestling. You are the reason why wrestling is where it is. The fact that you're gone, and it's a good reminder that, man, a lot of 80 wrestlers are gone too. It sucks, man. It fucking sucks. We're losing them 80 wrestlers, bro. And now that Hulk Hogan's gone, was basically the king. I don't know. Thank you, Hulk Hogan. Thank you. And God bless all the Hulkamanians out there. It's great to also see him working out with that kid who eventually became like his buddy, the roaster. God bless that kid. The guy is a good guy. Hulk Hogan's a good guy. I that's all I would say. I think he's a good guy from what I see. One of the best of all time, the greatest of all time. Even though, like again, you can say Austin, The Rock, Taker. I personally like Taker better, and Hogan. Taker will always be number one, but there will be no wrestling without Hulk Hogan. So that's why Hulk Hogan will always be number one. But I mean, regardless, I still have like my favorites. But Hogan is number one regardless of always the best to ever have done it. The best there is, the best was, the best there ever will be. Even, you know. Sure, backstage politics and all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, I do think he was a good guy. He was just trying to help the industry and just, obviously being a business. Because, again, in the day, pro wrestling is a business. So, obviously, great memories in wrestling. And now, the fact that he's gone, I don't know what else to really say. I don't want to drag this too long. I already dragged it enough. But I don't want to forget what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, Hulk Hogan, you've done a lot of great things. You are indeed the real American himself, and a hero and inspiration to so many people to eat their vitamins, say their prayers. Even Vince McMahon made a tweet about this. It's not wrong. Sure, his public image was ruined because of the steroid trial, but at the end of the day, he still had a great message for the fans to eat your vitamins, say your prayers, and do right. It's not a problem. It's a good, obviously, motivation. It's a good way to, and again, he also helped, again, not only, a big impact in the wrestling industry, but have a big impact in the fitness industry, how people should, keep in shape. So that's a good thing. A lot of people in the fitness industry are also moaning about that. But yeah, he it just also sucks that I probably wouldn't even see him. I was not going to see him again when he was, again, there was, rumors of him opening a, a store nearby Madison Square Garden, like a bar even. It could have been the next WWE World. I don't know what's that gonna happen now. Obviously, that doesn't mean that Hogan's gonna be there anymore. It sucks to also know again he had some issues with his daughter recently. But regardless, I hope he should say she have found peace. Again, Hogan may not be a perfect guy, but again, nobody's perfect. But he's probably just doing the best he can with his life, especially his late age now. But again, starting the business around 27 years old, and now sadly passing at 71. And his birthday was about to come up. He was about to be 72 in early August, and now he's gone. It sucks. It would have been great to hey, make it on your birthday. But definitely, maybe it's a little fitting, and it's kind of sad to know he passed away the anniversary of the Hulk Walker trial, or not trial, but the Hulk Walker leak. But again, I don't think he's a racist, and you know what? Good on him taking down Gawker. Good on him for being the best he can. It's just also a darn shame, man. Again, the fans booing him the last appearance in WWE. It's like that's not a way to want to like see him go out. Like, it would have been great to have seen him more respect. But now it's just like, what is that WWE's gonna do when now guys like him can't show up to an anniversary show or a special show to make people care about your show? What are you gonna do? Now you really gotta freaking push people, make new stars, But yeah, I'm kind of rephrasing myself, but thank you, Hulk Hogan. You have done so many good things in the business. There would be no wrestling business without you. God bless you. My condolences to the friends, family, loved ones to him. I love you, Hulkster. You're the best. Thank you for all the memories. May your memories and may your spirit live immortal forever. You'll always eat a vitamin, say your prayers. What you gonna do, brother? When Hulkamania, even is dead, will run wild on you, dude. Thank you, Hulkster. God bless you. And God bless all the 80 wrestlers. God bless all the wrestlers from my childhood and from, helping wrestling where it is today. He sadly, Hulk Hogan may sadly be one of the most controversial people now. But I gotta tell you, man, he will always be the best, regardless of that. And again, I still think that, all the whole lies, like he could have had dementia or Alzheimer's, some type of disease that made him say these things because, again, he probably had those issues which could affect his memory. So, you never know. Hopefully he's in a better place now. Hopefully he's doing, he'll be alright. God bless him. And yeah, it just sucks that people hate him now just for stupidness. But anyways, thank you, Hulk Hogan. Thank you for the memories. The wrestling world really did lost a legend, the face himself of pro wrestling. Thank you, guys. Till next time, peace. Yeah, bye. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. You're the best. God bless you. Good night, guys. Thank you.